This is the St. Mary's River. What you're looking at there in the distance is the International Bridge. I'll post a story up top where I actually have a video really close to that. But this is obviously the Michigan side. And you see the bridge there in the distance that connects the USA into Canada. So what you're looking at there across the water is Canada. Sault Ste. Marie, Canada, to be exact. There's a Sault Ste. Marie on the Michigan side, and there's a Sault Ste. Marie on the Canadian side. So there's a freighter, not sure what it's doing there, if it's getting filled up or letting stuff off. But this is where all the freighters come through, connecting Sault Ste. Marie, Lake Superior down to Lake Huron. So Lake Huron is that way. You see a freighter that's actually coming in from Lake Huron. And if you look this way, next to the Canada steamship lines, there's a freighter that's going to be coming right across here. So I'm going to keep it on to watch it go by. This is where all the ships come from Duluth, anywhere in Lake Superior that they have iron ore that they take down to Lake Erie, Toledo, Cleveland, Lake Ontario. In fact, they have a freighter berthed here at the museum. I'm actually at the Soo Locks Boat Tour Museum to get this nice shot. It's warmed up a bit. There still is quite a breeze though. But a little historical context. This is where the freighter, the Edmund Fitzgerald, would have come through from Lake Superior over into, it was heading towards Toledo. But of course it sank in Lake Superior. But the ship that followed it, the Arthur Anderson, would have continued through here, and that ship actually still operates today. This ship coming up, I can't quite read it yet. Something Integrity, American Integrity maybe. It looks like a pretty lengthy freighter, so we'll just talk here a little bit and kind of watch it go by. Not sure how deep this is, but it's got to be deep enough for all the freighters to come through. Looking up this way, this is where the famous Soo Locks would be located. Now, there's a difference of 20 feet between Lake Superior and Lake Huron in terms of their height. So I'm sure you've all heard of the Panama Canal, how the ships have to go through and the locks will raise or lower the ships in different levels by flooding the various locks. That's exactly the same thing that happens here. So Lake Superior is 20 feet higher, and then the ships go through the locks to lower them down 20 feet down to the St. Mary's River level, and then out into Lake Huron. Well, this is a great treat. It's not a famous ship, but it is a freighter that's going to go right by here, going very slow as they should, but it just came through the locks from Lake Superior. Downtown Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan is right there. There's the museum. That tower thing right there. It's called the Tower of History, so I'm definitely going to stop and see what that's about. I got about 4 hours before I got to start heading back to do the search for the Upper lights tonight. But then I already made my hotel reservation for here, so I have to come back here. So it's going to get late, and then go down to, since I have, or will, have the stops here in Sault Ste. Marie done today, then I won't need to do it tomorrow, which means I can go down to St. Ignace, and then instead of staying the night there, I can get all my stuff done tomorrow. I just won't have a sunrise at the bridge, and then get home really late back to Perrysburg. More quick here, and then we'll watch the ship go by. That's kind of cool. That is a very lengthy freighter. I'm guessing, again, I'm just purely guessing, maybe 2 football fields long. I don't know what it looks like on the live feed. Yep, the American Integrity. There are a couple websites where you can actually see where the freighters are on the Great Lakes. We'll just watch it go by here. If I can read that correctly, it looks like it has a draw 40. I can't quite read those numbers, but based on the numbers that I see there and knowing a little bit about ships that I do, that is fully loaded with something, more than likely iron ore. You see those holds on the top? That is where they would load. Usually it's iron ore or iron pellets into the ships. They have to have it equally balanced, but again, if you know the history of the Edmund Fitzgerald, it sat very low in the water, and then it ran into a storm in Lake Superior and was sunk, and they believe broke in half. So again, if you just look at the size of this ship that's passing here, and you think of that rolling through 30, 40, 50-foot waves, breaking in half and sinking to the bottom of Superior. There's the crew deck. That's where the captain is steering the ship through the river here. So if you want to Google the American Integrity, you can see where it's going. But more than likely it was loaded up in Duluth. And going through Lake Huron, probably down to Toledo or Cleveland, unless it crosses through the Mackinac and going over to Chicago. Yeah, that is a good 2 football fields long. That is pretty cool. You can imagine how long it took to go through the locks. I don't know how long it takes. There's a series of 3 of them. Obviously, they pick up speed once they get into the Great Lake itself. The little thing that's twirling on the top is the radar. Next few days are supposed to be pretty clear, so no more snow. There's a lot less snow here than there was in the central UP. I'm in the eastern UP right now, so I'm still in the Upper Peninsula. But I'm literally, what is that, a quarter mile from Canada? I wish the freighter its best on its journey for a safe passage. Wherever it's going. Then one last look back to the Soo Locks. Looks like that Canada steamship is moving now. So it's probably going to come right behind this one. They have an order, which they have to